Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our seminar and webinar by HFC for the SME clients. We have done one in the past, and that was last year. And this is yet again, we are back to touch base with the businesses in the country, and more so our customers and all those that are logged in on our Facebook page. Feel most welcome. Our today's webinar is dubbed Tax Compliance and Emerging Issues. A lot is happening in the business world. We've had the Ukraine war with Russia that is affecting business. And you listen to a little bit more on how that affects the world economy and how that affects our national economy. But more importantly, is the issue of tax compliance. And I'm glad that we have brought to you this afternoon a tax expert who I'll be introducing to you shortly, alongside the panelists from HFC Bank. So sit back and enjoy this session. It will be an interactive session. I will be your moderator, Christopher Opio from HFC Bank. And I would very quickly now want to move on to introducing our panelists. And I will start with the team from HFC. The first panelist that I would want to introduce you to is Mr. Patrick Jung. Mr. Patrick Jung is the retail director at HFC Bank. He is an all-round banker who has been in the industry for over 15 years, has worked with various banks in various capacities prior to his current status as a retail director at HFC. And I would just want to take you through his profile, which is coming up on screen. He's a seasoned, results-driven banker with over 12 years experience, having led various business units, delivering results both in the digital and retail banking space. And his expertise includes building business units, driving innovation, and entrenching excellence in customer experience. He is a holder of the Global Executive MBA from the USIU in partnership with Frankfurt School of Business. And he has a Bachelor of Arts degree in economics, among other qualifications. Welcome, Mr. Patrick Jung. We're glad to have you. Our next panelist is our head of SME and commercial banking at HFC, Mr. Simon Waruinge. Simon's experience spans over 15 years in banking, previously worked at EcoBank, SBM Bank, Family Bank, UBA, and now at HFC Bank. Among the roles he has held in this organization include management trainee. He's been a branch manager, a regional branch manager, a deputy head of branch business, a head of retail, most recently, head of SME at UBA Bank. So he has had a wealth of experience, both for Pan-African banks and local banks. He holds a Master of Business Administration degree in finance and a Bachelor of Education, Accounting and Economics option from the University of Nairobi. Likewise, he's a certified public accountant, CPAK, and a member of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants, Kenya. A graduate of Strathmore Business School in Leadership and a certified leadership coach with CDI Africa. Welcome, Simon Waruinge. And to our chief guest of the day.
Thank you.
The tax
Good
expert,
afternoon.
Good afternoon, Orenge. And now to our chief expert of the day and the guest of the day. She's a tax expert from RWK and Associates. And this is none other than Regina Kingori. Now, to say a little bit about Regina. Regina has over 10 years of experience in taxation, auditing, financial advisory, and accounting. She is currently the MD at RWK and Associates, CPA Care, a registered audit firm with the mission of building successful organizations. Services at RWK and Associates include audit, tax, and advisory. But her specialty is tax, and she's a tax trainer. And as RWK, they have conducted numerous successful tax training as a corporate social responsibility, because they believe that every person should understand tax in order to make good business decisions and be tax compliant. She's a holder of an MBA, Strategic Management, with a bachelor's in Commerce Finance option, and also a certified public accountant in Kenya, CPAK, and a tax administration certified professional as a postgraduate diploma. So welcome, Regina. Welcome, Regina. So without further ado, I will now welcome our panelists, Mr. Patrick Jung, who will just give us an overview of the HF group before we delve into the topic of the day. Welcome, Patrick.
For that very good introduction. Request our guests I be allowed to just put down my video. I'm taking this offsite. I would request that you just bear with me so that then I can optimize my network. If we can just put up the presentation so that it. HFC, first of all, we pride ourselves with having a very good heritage, good history. As the presentation is coming up, I just wanted to highlight that we will keep doing this. This particular seminar is actually a request from a cross-section of our customers, more to dissect the tax environment. And as we come to the close of the government financial year and also the deadline of filing tax returns, we thought this is an ideal time to have our customers taken through the salient items around the tax environment. This SME webinar, tax compliance in the VUCA environment. VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity. If you just look at, we are just barely trying to manage a pandemic at a global scale. Vaccine rollout is still continuing, but then there is this war and the geopolitical tensions it has created across significant supply chains, and that has trickled all the way to Kenya, and businesses and individuals are feeling that impact. Backdrop of the VUCA environment. We can go to the next slide. So just a brief background on who HFC is. Is one of the banking solutions provider. The other entity under HF Group is HF Property. We have a fully fledged bank assurance intermediary called HFBI, HF Bank Assurance Intermediary, and we also have a foundation. And the first couple of slides is just to highlight who HFC is and who, in the context of HF Group. HF Group is owned by a cross-section of shareholders. We always like to all customers and other stakeholders how our shareholding is composed. Just about 40 significant shareholder, we always call out who are the owners of Britam. So we have equity investment, which is an investment arm for investment. Funders led by African Invest.
Apologies, there's a bit of challenge on that line. Patrick, on your end, there's a bit of buffering. We can't hear. Just give us a minute. Apologies for that. Thank you, Jackson. We've seen your chart. We're just sorting that in a minute. Should be able to proceed. Jerusha, you may have to take over this presentation kindly.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jerusha. Thank you.
Okay,
you could take it from there.
Yes, I'll actually pick it up from Patrick. So my name is Jerusha Igumbo, and I am the head of branches. I head the branches at HFC. So just to pick up from where Patrick was, as you can see, our shareholding, our largest shareholder is actually Britam owning 48.22%. And then we are owned 42% by the public. Then we have NSSF owning 8% of HF Group, and the government owning 2%. So as you can see that, okay. So we began as a mortgage lender, but in 2015 we embarked on the journey to actually become a full service bank. So today, as we stand, We actually have personal banking, business banking, this diaspora banking. We are able to offer a range of products on the SME side. When it comes to the trade products, we have the online bid bonds, asset finance, guarantees, LPO financing, contract financing. When it comes to the loans, we can be able to give loans from the small businesses to the large businesses. In terms of offering our services, apart from just walking into branches, we also have the digital part where you can be on online banking and will still be able to get services from us. We also have the collection solutions. So if you are a landlord, we can be able to collect your rent for you. If you own a school, there's the school fees collection solutions that we have. And apart from that, if you also need advice from the bank, we can actually be able to give financial advisory services. Okay. And basically this shows you how we are structured. There's, like I'd said, there's the personal banking, there's the SME and commercial banking, and then we also have banking for financial institutions and for government institutions. So currently, I would say every cadre in the economy, we can actually be able to serve as HFC. Okay, so we've heard that it's a VUCA environment. VUCA stands for volatile, uncertain, and complex, and actually ambiguous environment. There's so much that is actually going on, and our director retail actually alluded to that. There's the war in Russia, the ongoing pandemic, which has been, COVID has been, it's like it's here to stay. It's been with us for the last 3 years. There's the upcoming August elections. And of course, the climate changes that actually happen within our environment. So with all that, there's a lot that businesses are facing. And that's why we say it is actually so uncertain. We've seen how our Kenya shilling has actually been trending. When you look at like the past 2-3 years, and compare it to where we are now at 115, we wouldn't have thought we would actually get here. But the Kenya shilling has been really fluctuating in relation to the dollar. So a lot of uncertainty for businesses. So we ask ourselves, how can we as businesses operate in such an environment? Jiri?
Thank you very much, Jerusha. I think you've given us a very good brief on the bank, its shareholding, the various segments of the bank, and more so now to what we want to delve in, which is the VUCA environment, as this will speak to the emerging issues in the business space. And also now to just invite our chief guest so that we begin to delve on these matters of the VUCA environment and tax compliance for businesses. So it gives me great pleasure once again to invite Regina Kingori, our chief guest and our tax expert, to start us off. And like I mentioned earlier on, issues of tax can bring down a business. We have seen in the recent past in the dailies, a few companies have got tax demands that are almost crippling their businesses. So it is important that we talk on this matter of tax, because again, without compliance, you do not have a sustainable business. So I will not say much more because the expert is here and ready to roll. Welcome, Regina.
Thank you. So thank
Regina,
you.
So Regina, to start us off, you probably want to tell us what are the types of tax? Why do we pay tax? Before you go into tax disputes and resolutions, the floor is yours. Welcome.
All right. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you. So thank you so much. We're going to talk about taxes, a lot of taxes, tax compliance for businesses, and especially because we are entrepreneurs. So we're going to talk about the issues of tax and why do we pay taxes, what taxes do we pay, everything. And if you have a question, you can be writing it on our chat, or something that you'd want to understand today. We'll be glad to answer it. So my name is Regina Kingori, and I'll be taking you through the session for today for taxes. I'll share on your screen what I'm having. Sorry for that. Let me share. A minute, I share what I'm having.
Right, so as Regina shares that, I just want to remind us, if you have any questions as we move along, or even that you would want answered within this session, you can post that on your Q&A portion, or even on chat. We have experts at the back end who will respond to those that we can respond to, and even those that we will need to re-emphasize on, we would also do that as we move along and at the end of Regina's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jiri. Thank you for that. So we are talking about tax compliance for businesses in Kenya. And we have some content for us today. This is our content. I'll do the introduction of the topic. We'll talk briefly about the tax structure in Kenya. Jiri asked, what are the taxes that business owners or entrepreneurs should pay? I'll touch a bit of that. Then we are going to talk about mistakes that entrepreneurs make in taxation, because I know that we are business owners online who are listening to this. And as a business owner, you want to understand something significant about taxes. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about tax audits. KRA has been up in arms about audit. I'll talk something about audit. Then we're going to talk about tax dispute resolution. And then we'll talk about emerging issues. So welcome. We're going to take roughly 45 minutes, and you can have your questions ready. So thank you very much. Karibuni. So why is it important for a business to be tax compliant? The importance is that you're able to access capital. Today, if you go to HFC to ask for a loan, they'll ask you for a tax compliance. They want to know that they are giving money to a company or to a business that is tax compliant. So it helps you improve your business operations. It enhances growth. Today, if you want a tender, if you want to do a merger, if you're looking for an investor, the first thing they want to check is to check your taxes. And then the final thing and the most important part is that you're able to operate with a peace of mind. Tax is something that can really cause stress to a business owner, to an entrepreneur, and you can have, the moment you get a tax demand, it can really stress you up. So it is important to be tax compliant. It is important to understand taxes, even as an entrepreneur. Some of us don't have the capacity to learn, or we don't have the background of taxation. But it is very important for you to have some understanding. Even if you have people in the office that are doing taxation, you have outsourced the services, or you have a tax expert, it is very important for you to understand something. and about taxation, and that is what we are going to understand today. So the tax structure in Kenya is very wild, depending on the business that you do, depending on your company or your operations, you have different tax obligations. So pay as you earn, I'll just mention them. I'll not explain so much on them so that we can cover all the other issues. But if you have a question, you can ask. Pay as you earn, this is a tax that is paid by the employer on behalf of his employees. It is done on a monthly basis. Corporation tax, that is the tax that you are having at this point. For the financial year, January to December, you're supposed to do your audit reports, show your profits, and pay taxes on those profits. So that is called corporation tax, is 30% of your profits. We have VAT. VAT is if you're selling vatable goods, you have this obligation that is called value added tax. It is done on a monthly basis, and you're supposed to declare your sales and your purchases. We have withholding taxes. Withholding taxes are taxes that are levied on professional services, especially when it comes to your company, and I offer you tax services. When you pay me above 24,000, you should do the withholding tax. Any professional service, legal fee, whether you are bringing an electrician, any person who has technical capacity, you can do the withholding tax. And also withholding taxes also have others, what we call VAT withholding agency. We have withholding tax at the end of the year for contractual services. It's a wider topic. Rental income tax. So if you have rental houses, you have residential, both residential and commercial, both have taxes. We have excise tax. If you're selling excisable tax goods, or you're manufacturing excisable goods, for instance, water or liquor, beer, such, they have an obligation that we call excise tax. We have capital gain tax. If you're selling a property, sale of a property, the proceeds on sale of property, you're supposed to pay capital gain tax. So each one of these, there are many more, each one of these have their own, their wide topics on what happens, on penalties, on when they are supposed to be filed, on every, they have a lot of information that you can give on each. But for today, I'll just mention so that we can move to what we need to learn, especially for entrepreneurs, especially for people that are doing business. You are, as a business owner, some of the things that you should be able to understand. So I'll go to the costly mistakes entrepreneurs make in taxation. And the tax structure, I'll keep referring. If I'll be referring, I'll keep referring to these taxes as I move, so you'll be able to understand more. So most of the biggest problem that we have with our entrepreneur or the business owners is the lack of proper documentation. So we are not able to keep proper documents. We have not outsourced this service very well. We have people in our office that possibly don't have the capacity to do proper record keeping. And if you're having a Kra audit, if you're being audited as a company, one of the things that you should be able to provide is proper documentation. When you're going through a Kra audit, Kra lists documents that you should provide. And this document that you should provide is what stands between you and that audit. So if the demand is 10 million, the only evidence that you're having that this tax demand is not this much money is the documentation that you provide. Most of us, we are busy working out the business. We have a hard economic environment. So the most of probable we shield this. We are busy working things out, so we are not able to do proper record keeping. So which are some of these records that you should provide? A sales ledger or a purchases ledger. These are to show the sales that you're having. Nowadays, we are having softwares. We have QuickBooks and other softwares. You can be able to put your ledgers very well. Or we have even tailor-made service softwares that you can use. We have general ledgers. This is to show the expenses that you're having. We have asset register. When you buy something as an asset, there should be a register kept somewhere to show those purchases, to show disposals, to show revaluation. We also need an M-Pesa statements. Nowadays, our businesses, we have till numbers, we have pay bill numbers. So KRA is looking at our transactions through the bank statement and also the M-Pesa statements. So keep them properly. Debtors and creditors account, salaries and wages. We pay a lot of casuals within our companies, yet we don't keep proper documentation of the casual wages that we pay. It is very important. Why we have director's account? If you are a director and you have a personal account, then KRA is also interested to see what happens on your bank account, what happens with you. Are you separate from the business? Or do you draw money out of the business? Or do you have other businesses that you're operating as a director? Loan statement, if you declare a loan, you're also supposed to provide the loan statement. Inventory accounts, they'll ask you for stock sheets to define and to be able to understand the stocks that you're having, if those stocks are correct stocks or you have overstated your stocks, so that you can under-declare your profits. So remember the regime that we are having, the return regime is self-assessment. This is where you sit down and do the returns yourself. You sit down and have the people in the office operating these returns. They file for you, or the auditor files for you. So KRA is mandated to come and check those self-assessment if you did them properly. And they are supposed to come within a period of 5 years. So as an entrepreneur, all these records, you should be able to keep them somewhere safe for a span of 5 years. And when KRA is coming to I'll talk about audit triggers and some other things, I'll talk about them, and we'll talk more about these records. So what are the mistakes that as an entrepreneur you do them? Trusting that parties to handle tax matters for you. So as a business owner, you're busy, you're looking for money, you're looking for customers. So at the end of the day, you have an auditor, you have outsourced the services, or you have the people in the office. And sometimes we don't check, we don't counter check what they do, what the filings that they do. At the end of the day, we find that there are so many errors, so many penalties that could have been avoided. So kindly, let's check what our people that are doing these returns, what they are doing. Errors in tax calculations. So we talked about that this regime is self-assessment. It's something that you sit down and you do it yourself. So when you sit down and do it yourself, you should be able to perform it very well. And KRA gives us time. So if you're doing pay as you earn return, you have 9 days to totally do the return. So if you're not able to do that return very well, you're prone to do the errors. Right now we are doing audit. So we'll find that on date 25th, all the way to 30th, we are running up and down. Yet we have a whole 6 months to check our returns and to make sure that our audit report was correct. So during this time period, we are prone to make errors, And you cannot go to KRA when you're going through an audit process and tell them that these calculations were erroneous, because this is self-assessment. You sat down, you look at them, you look at those returns and you filed. So kindly check your returns very well. And now talk about what those returns should contain, what you should be able to understand in that return. It is very important. Failure to register for tax obligations, e.g. payee, e.g. rental, VAT. So you're selling buttable goods, but you're not registered for VAT. At the end of the year, you declare that you have salaries, yet you're not registered for pay as you earn. So these are some of the issues that we make as entrepreneurs and can cause a lot of tax demands on our companies. Lack of a tax function in our own organization. So a tax function nowadays is extremely important. The same way we have importance of a sales function or customer care function. A tax function within our companies is extremely important, because KRA has been really checking on what we are doing on our taxes, on our returns. So outsource, if you don't have that capacity, outsource it. Or if you have capacity, make sure that you have competent people within the organization that are doing this. And you can also hire a tax advisor to just come counter check what is happening and make sure that everything is flowing very well. Combination of multiple sources of income is also a challenge to entrepreneurs. So you having a business, you have rental income. So at the end of the year, you combine these sources of business, sources of income. Remember, the iTax portal gives us a segmentation that you can declare these sources of income separately. So during an audit process, KRA will audit these businesses separately. So you may find that one business had a profit and the other one did not have a profit. So you end up paying a lot of taxes on the business that had a profit. Failure to plan. So this is observing deadlines, like what we are talking about right now. So if you're not being able to do your audit report, do it within a week. Check with your auditor, go through it properly, analyze issues, look at it, and then be able to make any decision on time. Lack of controls and procedures, internal audits. So, and as entrepreneurs, this is also a huge, huge mistake that I've seen. We don't have internal audits within our companies during the year. Do 3 months, 4 months, and as you look at the profits of the company, you look at your internal controls, you also look at your taxes, do a tax plan, say this quarter I made this profit or I made a loss. And if I made a profit, can I pay an installment tax? Or what can I be able to pay? Look at your return for those 3 months or 4 months. Have I been able to do the monthly returns very well? Are there invoices that were not accommodated, or are there issues? Have those, the same way you have sales engagements, have tax engagements with your members, with your staff, or with person that is handling the tax issues. Non-declaration, non-deduction of withholding income tax. So I've talked about that. If I come to you as a tax advisor and you don't withhold the 5%, is also will also raise a tax demand in future. So if I'm fast, you can type something or you can raise your hand. I'm trying to accommodate so many things within the 45 minutes. So I will talk about KRA audits because these are very huge topic for entrepreneurs, and because KRA has been really active on auditing our companies. They have been sending emails and so many other things. And we really want to understand the whole topic and what happens and how, as an entrepreneur, the whole process, how you should behave or what you should provide. So I'll talk about what triggers audit. And a company should be audited within 5 years. I've talked about that. That is an obligation. So if you're running a business and you've never been audited, know that one time they will come and they will audit you for 5 years. So it is very important for you to be able to, do your work very well and to audit, to do your books very well and to keep them safe. So how do you win an audit? You win an audit through documentation, through books. So it is very important for you to have proper documentation with you. These are your books. These are the books that I've talked about. Outsource these services if you don't have capacity, and keep the books very well. Have a software, an accounting software that is working very well, and have proper documentation with you. That is the only way that you can win a tax audit. And KRA has graduated from looking at our returns, even looking at our margins, profit margin. So they will tell you your profit margins are very low compared to other companies in the same industry. So how do you counterattack that one? You have to take your documentation, you have to show your invoices, your purchases invoice. This is how I bought and this is how I sold and these are my margins. So you have to provide documentation on every process or anything that you're going to give them. So why is KRA always on my company? Why is KRA always on my company? Visibility. So most of the people ask me, why do I have to see an email every time? Why am I having a call from KRA? Do we have millions of companies in Kenya? Why are they always on my company? Visibility. Because your company is visible. The moment you hit 5 million turnovers in a year, then you're selling vertible goods, then you should have VAT as an obligation. The more profits, the more turnovers that you make, the more visible you are. And KRA has designed a way, the softwares are working very well to define that your business has graduated from small, medium entrepreneur to somewhere else. You're at a medium level, you're at a large level. That's why you find that a company will graduate from a station level to the medium taxpayer's office, to the large taxpayer's office, because your business is growing. So as long as your business is growing, then you're more visible. And the software is in place will make sure that they see you. So it means that your company is visible. It means that now you need to put your documents in order, and you need also to have a tax advisor with you. So every company should be audited within 5 years. I've talked about that one. Tax filing is self-assessment. You sat down, you did it, and you did it yourself. VAT obligation, this is also something that I need to highlight. KRA has been tough on VAT obligation. So if you have VAT as an obligation, then you need to do your you need to do your business very, very well. So do your business very, very well. Do your invoices well, because KRA is looking at your customers. They can be able to access your customers and see who you are selling to. They can see who you purchased from. They can see when you're using invalid invoices. So it is very important, if you have VAT as an obligation, it is very important to be extremely careful. So it is very important to be extremely careful. So we have also, you also need to have a competent tax advisor with you. Have a competent tax advisor with you during this journey, and also be optimistic. Be optimistic about the process. So I found most entrepreneurs that when we are having a KRA audit, we panic, we feel like we want to close down the business, you start generating new ideas of new businesses. Be optimistic about this process. Understand that at one particular point, you will undergo this process. So be optimistic, be open to undergo this process. Have a tax advisor with you, and you will win the process. You will win this process. So tax triggers, audit triggers, I'll talk about some audit triggers. So non-filing and late filing of returns. So if you're not filed your return, or it is 30th June and you tell your auditor, oh, file a new return, then we do an amendment. That is an audit trigger. If you've been paid through IFMIS by the government, so if you're selling to the government, to the counties, to the parastatos, and you get payment through IFMIS, then that is an audit trigger. You need to declare full payment. And if there was a withholding certificate that you've not received, tell them that I've not received my certificate because I need to do declarations. Because at the end of the day, KRA will raise this data and they will raise demands on payment done under the IFMIS portal. Significant variation of that of amount declared in returns, that is pay as you earn, income tax, and VAT. So the monthly returns that we do every month, at the end of the day, they come together to form what we do at the end of the year. So at the end of the year, the audit report that you are filing, if you had VAT obligation, already you had your sales with you, you had your purchases with you. If you had the pay as you earn obligation, already you have the sales, the salaries expenses with you. So if these things are not matching together, then that raises an audit, is an audit trigger. So for instance, if you've done your VAT at the end of the year is 10 million, but the auditor declared 15 million, then already you have an audit trigger. So it is very important to sit down with your auditor and understand the whole report. That report is very important. It's what KRA is using to audit you. The return that is done every month is what KRA is using to audit your company. So the person doing those returns should be able to understand the tax element in the returns that they are doing. Continuous losses of a company. KRA has been very sensitive on losses, on low margins. So it is very important to declare the correct position of the company. So if you're always on a loss, KRA would want to see what kind of business are you doing. Industrial trends versus company profits. I've talked about profits. If you're in real estate, KRA will come to you and tell you you're giving us 5% profit margin, yet in this sector, we see 10% profit margin. So they are able to group sector and see in this sector this year, how much profit did they make? So if they determine that people made 10%, yet you made a loss or you made 2%, then that is an audit trigger. We have business restructuring. If you're merging a company, if you're closing down your company, if you want to drop some tax obligations, all these are audit triggers. So the moment you write a letter to them and tell them that I want to merge my company or I want to close down the company, the next point, they're going to send you a return review audit. They want to review your company. They want to audit your company. So VAT, customs, and excise refund claims. So if you're having claims and you want to be refunded, KRA refunds is actually have a department as Times Tower to refund taxes. So if you're doing export, for instance, they are zero rated. So if you need those refunds, that is an audit trigger. So the moment you request for refunds, then the company should undergo an audit so that you can receive these refunds. That party information, so the moment somebody as your concrete information about your company. They have information that you've been under declaring. They can go to KRA and provide this documentation, and KRA can act on those, or they can act on that information. So we have media attention. So today, if you win an award, media sized, and you shouldn't be afraid of participating. Is an audit trigger also, but you can just, you can organize your company. The moment you're able to organize your company very well, you've looked at your documentation and everything, then media attention shouldn't be a problem. But the moment you go on media is also an audit trigger. Current and former employees giving information, if you have these people within the company and they give out information about your company, possibly there was a problem within your engagement, they can provide data to KRA and KRA can act on it. Intercompany transactions. So if you have multiple businesses, you have sister companies, you have one company doing manufacturing, another one doing distribution, another one doing PR, and all these companies are interrelated. The moment one company undergoes an audit, the other companies will also undergo the same audit. So these are some of the audit triggers within our companies that we should be aware of. The most important part is to be able to have proper documentation, safekeeping of these documents within 5 years, and having a tax advisor with you. Also being optimistic of the whole process is also very important. So I've talked about documents required and also audit triggers. And we have also said that even if these audit triggers are not within us, you should undergo as a company an audit within 5 years. So what happens at that particular point? That yes, you have received this letter, it is a tax demand, and this letter can come in a form of a tax demand, where KRA has stated the amount that they are demanding. They have gone through the audit reports or the documents, the returns that you've been doing. They have seen errors. They have looked at your margins. They have looked at other things, and they have done a demand. So they have given you possibly a 10 million demand, or they have written to you citing that they would want to audit you, and they have stated the documentation that they want you to provide them so that you can start the process. So first of all, you cannot tell them that I did not receive the email. Nowadays, the email must go through. You cannot tell them that I did not. So they'll send you an email, they'll send you a postal address letter, they'll call you. So they'll make sure that you have the information that you are undergoing an audit, and they have location. The software is integrated to a point that they can be able to get your exact location. So what should you understand? Understand the time frame given by KRA. So they have told you we need this document within 7 days or 14 days. So understand that process, and if you don't have that time, or you are undergoing a process, or it is your busy season, or you have something, you can tell them and request them and tell them, I received your letter, but I'm undergoing something and I need to an addition of more time, and you cite the time that you require. So it is allowed. You can request for more time. Engage. Engagement is very important. Do not sit on that letter. Do not block that call. It is going to make things worse, and it can even lead to an assessment on your portal, on your iTax portal, because you did not respond positively. So respond, tell them I need more time to be able to perform or to give this documentation. Evaluate the information required by KRA. So which are these books that they need? Do we have these books within the company? So if you don't have this book, can you prepare them? Some of the books that they will require can be even prepared at that particular point. So look at the information required. Carry out a pre-audit compliance check. This is very important, and I see most of the entrepreneurs missing this point. So the moment you understand the documents required, do not take them to KRA without involving a tax advisor, without having this pre-audit compliance check. Let's look at the risk. What are the tax risks within your company? So they have said that you're supposed to pay them 10 million. Is it true? So is it true that you owe them this much money? So have that discussion with you. Look at the 5 years or the 2 years they are looking for, and look at all the issues. What are our risks? If we don't have this documentation, can we find it? Can we make it? Can we, if we have this invoice, they are requesting for invoices, yet some of these invoices we didn't request them from our suppliers. Can we ask for copies from our suppliers? So have this information within the company, just discuss it before you have that, you present the documentation. Have an opening meeting with KRA team. It is very important. At this opening meeting, they will ask you when you formed the company, what you do, how many staff you have, all this information. They would want to understand the business or what kind of business that you do. You can also ask them, what information are they looking for? Why are they looking for? Why are they conducting that audit to you? Sometimes they will tell you we have third-party information, we are carrying out an investigation. They can even specify to you that this is our point of concern. Our point of concern is your sales. We have information that you're doing and a declaration of your sales. So you can have that open meeting, and it is very important. Assign a contact person to handle the KRA. If it is a finance person from your team, if you have a team of people, just assign somebody. It's very important. Resolve as many issues during the audit process as possible. This is very important. So at this particular point that you undergo this audit, make sure that you have your tax advisor, you had your team ready, and make sure that you're able to get to a consensus with the team, the KRA team that is doing this process. Because we are going to talk about tax resolution and tax dispute. It is a long process. It is cumbersome. Sometimes it is stressful. So if you can be able to handle this point and this process at this early stage and be able to agree at a process, you can agree on your taxes to pay. You can request a payment plan. It is very important for you because you'll be able to even close the case quickly. You'll be able to not to have stress. You'll be able to continue with your normal operations of the business. Ensure that you receive an official letter of findings from KRA. So if you undergo the process, make sure that you get the final letter telling you that we covered this period, so that next year, come next year or the other day, they will not cover the same period. Remember, KRA is structured in a way that they have different departments. So sometimes you may have compliance check department. There's a department doing VAT, others doing pay. There are different departments within KRA. And then we also have accounts managers. So these account managers keep changing. So these are people assigned to handle different businesses at KRA. So the accounts manager, this year you may be handled by somebody and you undergo through an audit. Then the next year somebody else is handling the same accounts. They repeat the same audit. So it is very important to get the official letter of findings, and so that you can show that you actually ended that process. Pay any taxes not in dispute. If you consider going the dispute way, we're going to talk about it. Pay the taxes that you feel. So they have assessed you 10 million. You feel that what you owe them is 2 million. You can do a payment plan on the 2 million and start payment as you start the process of audit, of resolution. So what are some of the KRA ongoing audits? So VAT or VA auto-assessment, this KRA is really looking at what we are doing under VAT. So if you have VAT obligation, and if you're doing huge turnovers, it is very important to understand the whole process because you always be on audit if you're not careful on these returns. So they are able to match the seller and they are able to match the customer, the seller and the buyer. So they are able to find how much sales you're making, how much profit you're making, and it is very important for you. Return review, so this is compliance check. When we do the audit reports at the end of the year, like when we do by June, around August, they will roll out, they want to see the return and they will request for documentation to verify the return that you did. Rental assessment, KRA sends a team of surveillance to our rental residences and they post as tenants to make sure that we are paying the rental income. So VAT credit, so if you have a huge credit with you, KRA sends you a letter for audit. They want to see why you're having a credit, why you're not paying them VAT and you're always on a credit. Comparison between turnovers in income tax, VAT return, I've talked about that. It's very important to have some, for the auditor to make sure that these things are, they are just okay. The audit report is okay. So advanced tax, if you have commercial vehicles within the company, KRA will send you this advanced tax. They want to see if you paid your commercial vehicles for advanced tax, and they'll do a demand through the information they get from NTSA. So import and export information. So if you're exporting under a system that is called SIMPA system. So KRA has access to the information of export. If you're importing even locally through East African border, Maraba border, whatever border that you're importing from, KRA at that particular point, they have information that year you have imported. So they have that data and they will audit you on that, on those different data. So it's very important to have your return done well, to show this export, to show the imports, and to show that all this information clearly indicated. IFMIS, I've talked about that. If you get paid through IFMIS data, that is an audit trigger, and that happens every year. So KRA receive data from IFMIS every year, and they check your return. So through IFMIS, they see you received 100 million from the county. So they look at your return and they see that you've declared 50 million. They write you a letter demanding the taxes on the rest of the money. So rental assessment based on KPLC and water meter information. So KRA will call you and they will tell you have these meter numbers and it shows that you have a rental building. So give us the taxes. Nil filers, non-filers. So if you have a company and you're just paying nil and non-filers and you have operations, that is an audit trigger. And this happens. So KRA would want to know because they keep closing, they keep canceling pins, they cancel obligations. So they want to know why you're doing a nil return. So they will ask you for audit of your company. Non-payment of pay obligation, yet you have salaries. If you have salaries and you don't have the payee obligation, there is also audits that are ongoing. Tax evasion and tax investigation on evasions. So this happens
Apologies, our guest speaker seems to have hanged.
Sorry, I guess I had a problem. You can hear me?
Yes, you're back on. Thank you.
Possibly, Njiri, you can tell me how many minutes I'm having.
Uh, 20 will do. 20 more minutes.
Okay. So investigation will happen at particular points. So if you're in business that is possibly at that point having an investigation, you undergo this process. Double claimed invoices, so KRA has released data. So sometimes before the VAT came in or the VAA came in, we used to have accountants in the office. Possibly you don't record your invoices well, and somebody picks those invoices. The return was done last month. Then they use the same invoices to do the return this month, because there's possibly you had turnover of accountants. So there were some issues within the department and you did not understand what was happening. So KRA right now has rolled data on double claimed invoices under declaration of sales. So I've said that VAT is one of the areas that KRA is doing a lot of concentration on. So we are having them being able to match our customers. So if I'm Regina and company and I'm VAT, I have the VAT obligation, and I give out my customers invoices, KRA can be able to view my customers, and they can see in that month of May, I sold 5 million. And then they can counter check with my return and see in that month I declared that I sold 3 million. And they tell us, they will send you that report and tell you, we have seen that the documentation from your customers that you sold 5 million. Why is this 2 million? So through the VAT obligation, through the iTax portal, the iTax portal is very swift to give these details. So be very careful on the returns. Do not use invalid invoices, the ones that are custom made at River Road. Do not go that route. Do not just give them clear information of what the business is doing or what you're doing in your business. So what are some of the mistakes that happens as an entrepreneur? So I know we have entrepreneurs with you. So when you have undergone an audit, or when you are in process of an audit, or when you receive that call from KRA, the most probable thing we do, we panic, we go to them with anger, and these are huge, huge mistakes. Because the moment you approach them with anger, and you tell them that you want to close my business, do you know who I am? They record this information. So they can write an email and in your file and have this reporting. They have this reporting with them. So they can say that the client did not respond well. They said they gave us invalid information. They keep changing goals. They keep changing time. We started this audit last year. We've never moved. They have this information with them. So cooperation is very important. Not consulting a tax advisor. That is very important if you're undergoing this process. Assuming the letters, this is when right now we are undergoing an election, you are busy, you don't have cash flows, so you assume these letters, and it will cause things to be worse. Not conducting a tax risk assessment, I said this is very important. Just have this conversation soberly. Let's look at our business. Are we in a good position? Let's do a health check and just make sure that the business is okay. What are our taxes? Are we filing okay? It is very important. Side shows is where you say that I have somebody I know, commissioner is my friend. So this will not help you, because at that point, an audit will still have to continue. So canvassing, so we have even people who resort to canvassing, and canvassing might help you temporarily, but still the company will still undergo an audit process at a particular point. And the problem of side shows and canvassing is that you don't get to understand if you had mistakes and you're not able to correct the mistakes. So possibly your business, you're not doing correct filing, or there's something that you are doing incorrect, and you don't get to a point of the audit process. So you continue making that mistakes, and one particular point you find people that you cannot converse anymore, and you undergo an audit process that can be even lead to closure of the business because of the tax demand raised. So you've undergone an audit process. You've understood the audit triggers, some of the audit triggers. You have undergone an audit process, and you've been raised assessment. So they have raised 5 million as an assessment. You feel that you were not heard properly. These people did not judge your books or didn't look at your books properly, and you feel that your tax demand possibly could have been 1 million. So what happens at that point? You've been given an the Tax Act is clear on resolutions. Sorry for that. So you can resolve tax dispute. There is a legal way that you can follow. So you can do an objection. So this is at the point where the assessment is already done on the system. So you can object, and you can object within 60 days. And the moment you object, you get a new team. So possibly at the audit level, you had 2 people or 3 people that were auditing you. At the objection level, you get a whole new department and new people. So if you feel that these people did not listen to you properly at the audit level, you can be heard at the objection level. Of course, they were going to do reference to what was the audit that happened, but you can talk more, you can give out your documentation, and you can give additional information. So at that particular point, if you they can still say yes, or they can still say no. So if you still feel aggrieved, you can go to the tribunal. So at that moment when they object they reject your objection, you can go to the tax tribunal. You can go to the ADR process, that is alternative dispute resolution. There is also a process where you can go to the High Court, to the Court of Appeal. It is a process. So what you need to understand is, one, you understand the days from one department to the next. You need to understand the time frame. So if you're supposed to object within 60 days, object within those days. Then you also need to have a tax advisor work with you through this process. It is a cumbersome process, and it is a process possibly can stress you up as an entrepreneur. So have somebody help you through this process. The other thing that you need to understand is that this process can also be costly, because possibly the only thing that's going to really give you is time frame. So it can be cumbersome. So be aware, am I ready to undergo this process? The process can take a year, 2 years, 3 years, depending on the case, depending on the tax obligation, or depending on your argument. So are you ready to just be having this stress with you through the whole process? So it is very important for you. The tax dispute resolution or the tax dispute process is there and it is important to you. And you can be heard at any particular level. You can be heard, the offices are open, there are new team at every level, so you can be heard, you can give your documentation, and then you can be heard by a new team. So what is the role of a tax advisor in this whole process? From the point where you don't have an audit process, or you just have a company, you have your tax obligations with you. So what is the role of a tax advisor? Because for you to scale up your business, you need to have these people with you. And right now, if you want to scale your business up, then Kra will be, we talked about visibility. They're going to see you. So sometimes you may have people that say, I've never encountered Kra, I've never encountered an audit process. Possibly the most probable thing is they are not visible, their business is still at a lower level. But if you have a desire to scale up your business, then you should be able to have this information with you and be able to have a tax advisor walk with you the process. So conducting periodic compliance check, very important. Just have periodic, the same way we do internal audit, just have periodic compliance checks within the company. So just make sure that the tax obligations are well. Interpreting changes in tax. So we have so many changes. I'm going to talk about emerging issues. Conducting a tax risk assessment before audit, I've said is important. Just see the risk. Kra is asking me for 10 million. Is it true? Can they come in here in this company and demand 10 million? So just have that check with you and resolve it before you start the audit. Being available during audit, ensure that you have successful closure of an audit with a fair assessment, so they can help you to go through the process and to get a fair assessment. Help you resolve tax dispute if you accept or if you agree to go the resolution way, where you do the objection, you go to tribunal, we go to ADR, and this advisor can walk you through the process. So tax training to enhance operations, just make sure that the team that you're having in the office, they are proper trained on taxation and they understand the importance of the returns they do. Very important to understand, because that return is what is act as an audit trigger. So tax planning, this is a plan. When do we pay installment taxes? How do we pay these VATs? How do we plan? Even a VAT return should have a plan. So can we buy before the closure of the month so that we don't pay a lot of VAT? Those balancing is very important for you as an entrepreneur, and to have a team that understands the tax very well. So what are some of the emerging issues? Some of the emerging issues is what is happening right now, electronic tax invoice. And I've seen this week, Kra is sending these emails. I hope you have received them. They are giving us an alert that we should have this electronic tax invoice within us in our company by August. So what is difference between this tax invoice and the ETR that you've been having? So this gadget is supposed to give Kra real-time information about our sales. So the moment we key in data, before the end of the day, Kra should know how much you've sold. So if you sell 2 million that day, or if you sell 500, at the end of the day, Kra should have this data with them. So Kra has been very swift on VAT. I talked about that. If you're on vatable goods, then this is a point to be extremely careful on every engagement that you're doing. So it's supposed to minimize VAT fraud and increase tax revenues. So it's just supposed to give Kra real-time data. So the same way we do our returns and we file our returns every month, the same way we'll be doing the tax invoice every day. So we'll be giving Kra data on what we are doing on a daily basis. So it is going to change the dynamic of the businesses, how we conduct our business. So we're going to see how it's going to roll out, but it's going to definitely change a lot of issues when it comes to taxation. So we also have some more emerging issues, continuous changes in iTax. iTax is continually changed to make sure that it's swift, it's user-friendly, it's giving KRA a lot of information about our businesses, about what we do, very important. Data integration from all software. So KRA is in a position to get a lot of data. They're getting data from KPLC, from Water, from IFMIS, NTSA, eCitizen. So if you register a company, KRA gets an alert that you've registered a company. Even through eCitizen, you can receive a PIN. NHIF, NSSF, KEBS. Today, if you register for KEBS, if you ask for KEBS certification, possibly on manufacturing something, KRA gets that alert that now, hey, we have a new manufacturer. Yes. So voluntary disclosure of unpaid taxes is still ongoing. So if you're right there, you've never been audited and you feel like you have unpaid taxes with you, you can volunteer for audit. And they give you, of course, they're going to waive up some penalties and interest. It's going to be a bit of softer kind of an engagement, and you can be waived some penalties and interest and be given a payment plan that is workable for your principal amount. VAT agency appointment. So this year they've appointed so many people to be VAT agents. So this is just the agency process or the VAT, the appointment is just making sure that the VAT obligation is more swift. Is more swift to give them information that I bought, I sold, these are my customers, these are my sales. All this is KRA is using them to just make sure that they are aware of what businesses that are happening within Kenya, the businesses that we are doing. So through the VAT agency appointment, they can know that you do this kind of business. So transfer of companies to MTO, this is Medium Taxpayers Office. So according to your turnovers and your visibility, so KRA moves you from a station level to Medium Taxpayers Office to Large Taxpayers Office. At the medium level, at the Medium Taxpayers Office, somebody who is called your accounts manager calls you and even tells you, now I'm your new accounts manager, I'll be looking at your taxes. Now, at that particular point, you're paying taxes. And it is also a process, so it is good to be prepared because that time you need to have full disclosure of what kind of business that you do, the taxes that you file. Full disclosure at this particular point is very important. Documentation is important. So NITA has been very active. This is National Industrial Training Levy. It's levy 50 shillings per employee. It's contributed by the employer. So that money does not go to waste. You can call NITA to train your staff. And the moment you train they train your staff, you don't pay them because you paid the 50 shillings. So it is supposed to help the employees within your company get more skills, get more knowledge on performance or grow them. So it's supposed to grow them. So pay NITA and then you can request for those trainings. NHIF KRA rolled this relief this year. 15% of the amount contributed is also acting as a relief. Standard levy has been very active, 0.2% paid by manufacturers. Okay. Questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Regina, for your presentation that has shed some light on some of the issues that we struggle with in the tax domain. And it was good to have some aha moments looking at what you spoke to on visibility of a business, and that when you are 5 million and over in turnover, then you are tax obliged. I think there was also the issue of having a tax advisor and what does a tax advisor do. And I know there'll be some questions on what does it take to hire a tax advisor. Then you've spoken about VAT agents as well. I think a question lingers in my mind also, who is eligible and are they paid by KRA? How do you get to become a VAT agent? There is also the fact that we pay 50 shillings as businesses per employee, and we can demand for skills upskilling and a NITA. Maybe you may just want to expand a little bit on that. There is NHIF relief for 15% of the amount contributed. So those were good takeaways that I'm sure not many of us were aware of. But maybe as you ponder on some of the things I've asked there we have a few questions. And there was Emma who had said, could you shed some light on if you had a business name, if you're just a registered business name, should you have payee obligation, or it's just for companies that are running? So that was one question. And then Mr. Mbogwa also asked on the fact that if a company has no operations, do you still have to declare tax or do returns? Then we have Jackson Mutuma, who has asked that if you have a business name and you have used your PIN, individual PIN for the business, how do you do your tax returns and what are the implications? Jackson Mutuma has also asked, what is, just a moment, he has also asked, what is the home ownership savings plan, its implications on tax, and life insurance with regards to KRA returns? And the last question from Jackie Atieno, when KRA freezes one's account because of an unpaid fine, why are they not able to deduct the money from the account if they have it in their account with the consent of the taxpayer? I think if you answer those, I think we'll be happy. Okay. Over to you.
All right. So thank you so much. I'll start on the business name. So if you have a business name, this is when you have the difference is that the business name, you use your personal PIN, but a limited company has its own PIN. So if you have business operations and a business name, then you should do the business income under your personal PIN. So the difference also is when you're doing the tax return, the company will be, the charges for the income tax will be 30%, but as a business name, under your personal PIN, it will be graduated scale. So possibly might be cheaper. So if you're having a business name, it's operating under your personal PIN, then do some business income accounts and do the filing. So if you have a company and you don't have operations, do the nil filing. The nil filing will help you avoid taxes. So the moment you start operating, possibly after a year, 2 years, 3 years, you accumulate those penalties. So just do a nil filing. The next one, home ownership scheme, life insurance. So this, the interest paid on the premium that you pay on the life insurance and the home ownership is supposed to help you have some relief. So you can have those policies with you, and when you're filing, the income return at the end of the year as an employee. You can have those policies with you and indicate the premiums that you pay. Some interest, I guess 15% should offer as a relief. So those ones can be enjoyed, especially under the personal PIN. So agency notice, yes, agency notice. So an agency notice is where your bank account, KRA issues an agency notice to your banks, and they say that we need this money. Possibly that account has even that money. They cannot be able to withdraw. They can't be able to withdraw that money until you go to them. It's a process. You raise an e-slip, you do the payment, then they can lift. They can do the lifting of these letters. So for quicker response, talk to them, tell them that I'm available to pay this money. They will do you an e-slip, and then they will lift the letters. If you have, if they request for more money, possibly they are requesting for 500,000 and the account has 200,000, or you don't have that money, you can still request for a payment plan. So you can do a payment plan possibly for 6 months. That is what they accept, 6 months, 6 installments. You do the first installment and then request for the lifting of those accounts, and they will lift the agency notices.
Thank you, Regina. There is another question from Pauline. If I purchase an item and I'm not given an ETR, is that okay?
No, it's not okay. If you have the VAT obligation with you, then it's not okay, because it's going to minimize the VAT. The ETR is going to help you. So when you're filing, then you have less VAT to pay. So if you have a habit of buying, and some of us even buy on discount, you find some companies or some businesses, they tell you, if I don't give you an ETR, then I give you this discount. At the end of the day, it's lost to you. But if you pick that ETR, you may find that it is minimizing the VAT amount that you're supposed to pay, because VAT is sales and purchases. So if I have these sales, then I should have some purchases that I've purchased through ETR to be able to minimize my VAT amount.
We have another question before I go back to Emma, who I think has not been answered fully. Francis asks, if you own a limited company and you do your returns well, can you claim VAT charged on shopping bought from the supermarket or other shops or other shops on behalf of the same company?
As long as the shopping is for the business. Ah. So if you, yes, as long as if you possibly like cooking for your staff and you buy unga, sukari, whatever you buy to the supermarket, you can use it. So do not mix home shopping with the company expenses.
Okay. Right. So I think maybe you may just want to do a recap again on the question that I had asked earlier on, because I think Emma is not, she has not gotten your answer well yet, which was asking, I have a business name. Mm-hmm. Or I have a registered business name. Should I also have payee obligation?
Okay, yes, that one I didn't answer. So if you have a business name and you have staff with you, then you should also have the payee obligation. So a business name operates the same way as a limited company operates. It's only that you have not graduated that name to become a limited company. But if you're operating, you have operation, you have business operations with you, you have staff, you have employees with you, just go ahead and register the pay obligation. And the pay obligation will still accept a personal PIN. It will still do, you can also do a VAT obligation on your personal PIN. So you can do that. If you have staff with you, you can do that.
Thank you, Regina. I think we've learned quite a lot that we were not privy to, and the fact that tax information can be gathered even from third parties. You can actually put in and you can actually lodge into KRA and say so and so is not really paying their tax well. The other thing that was quite enlightening was that they can actually do a rental audit using your KPLC water bill information, since that is integrated, and that there is also VAT credits that you can get as long as you are able to do your returns well and an audit has been done. Thank you so much. That has been really, really insightful. And I now just want to give a short, yes, Regina.
Possibly what I can say as I exit, I don't know at what point, I want to say that the most important thing for an entrepreneur is have a bit of understanding of taxation, very important. The same way you understand your business, you understand sales, you understand your customers, just have a bit of understanding of taxation. Then make sure that you have proper documentation of your business operations. Make sure that you have competent person who is doing the returns. Have a tax advisor with you. And if you want to scale up your business, know that you become visible and KRA will be able to see you. So it is very important to understand all that and be able to be prepared. And the other thing, the final thing that I want to say is that you can win a tax audit. So be optimistic. So I find business owners who are really stressed, who panic, and you're not able to handle the whole issue soberly. So it is very important to be optimistic that the whole process will come to a completion, and understand that KRA is part of the business. Taxes is part of my business. So the same way I have staff, the same way I have taxes, and I can do a tax planning. I can plan well. I can have, I can do a tax plan and be able to be compliant. Just learn or try to be compliant. So somebody asked, can I raise an objection after an agency notice? Okay. So can I raise an objection after an agency notice? No, you can't. Already your bank account is closed. So what you need to do is to open your bank account. So the assessment that was done on the system, so the assessment was done possibly 2 million or 3 million. At that particular point, that was the point that you should have objected. So the moment the assessment was done, you were given 60 days to do the objection. So at the point where the agency notice is being done, then you can't do the objection on the agency notice. Possibly you can go back to the assessment and do a late objection and start the process of resolving the tax issue. So thank you very much.
There's one more last question there. I have a policy with ICA Lion. My agent tells me that the amounts of tax I pay can be reduced. It's a 10-year plan. Could you kindly shed more light on this?
Yes. We talked about the insurance policy, interests on the premium paid. So you can have the policy document with you when you're doing the return at the end of the year for the employee, for you as an individual. There is a place where you can input the details of the policy. So the policy number, the amount that you've been paying, and the iTax portal will calculate automatically the tax relief that you should receive. So you can receive a tax relief because of the policy.
Thank you very much, Regina. I will now move over to our panelist, our third panelist, who is our head of SME and commercial banking at HFC. Just to give you a little bit of highlights on what we have for you in the SME and commercial banking bouquet and what you can enjoy as a customer of HFC in the SME and commercial banking space. Welcome, Simon Waringe.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon, our listeners, wherever you are listening in from, and also viewing us from Facebook Live and also via the Zoom. Thank you so much for being part of our session. I can request Regina to drop her screen, stop sharing so that I can just proceed. I'll just touch briefly on the SME and why SME, and actually how we support our SMEs as HFC. From CBK sources, you'll come to notice that 98% of the businesses in Kenya, they're actually SMEs. If you dig deeper, you realize that over 30% of the jobs that are created currently within our economy actually are created by SMEs. So that's why we found it very important for us to journey with you. And as HFC, we say we are solutions oriented. I know the challenges, especially around the SMEs, the access to finance. That's why we are here to give you solutions. Access to information, we've taken you through tax, and access to market. Through networking forums, we shall open up to this so that now our SMEs can feel supported. So as HFC, we have several solutions, especially working capital solutions. And why working capital? You're looking at your business, you want to expand or diversify your business. Purchase stock for selling, as Regina has mentioned, as you claim VAT, you need to purchase and sell stock. Also, your debtors. She mentioned creditors and debtors. Debtors, where we're looking at people you've supplied, you've sold to, and actually you're waiting for payments, you've invoiced. So with that particular invoice, then you can finance and actually even get to finance your debtors as well. The success of this hinges on two things. What's the purpose of the loan? Do you have repayment capacity? So as HFC, then we walk the journey with you. The second thing that I'm touching on is actually on capital expenditure solutions. Here we are looking at you being able to purchase your motor vehicle or your fleet of trucks, investment in your own premises. Maybe you have a factory, you want to buy machinery, you want to increase the number of vehicles that are transporting. We have solutions that can touch on this. And actually this is for asset finance, working capital, and this one hinges on the capital item that we are supporting, especially the one that you want to purchase. It shall help you, and actually the purpose should be to help you generate more revenue. The second question that comes into mind is business being profitable to support repayment. Remember, at the end of the day, these are depositors' funds, these are shareholders' funds. So every shilling that we're giving out, we must ensure that it comes back. The other thing is that we also facilitate trade. And most of our customers, you could be in import, export business, because now after COVID, things have really opened up. We can help you obtain bid bonds. And right from the customers who actually do the bidding process, we have an online bidding, online platform for you to even apply for bid bonds up to 10 million. For a pool up to 20 million, then we can look at you even from unsecured perspective. Anything above 20 million, then we ask for 30% thereabout in terms of collateral. 30% cash cover, then the additional is collateral. We support you right from the bid. You've already placed a bid and you've won. Then from there, you ask for a performance bond. Come to the bank, we have a solution for you. After you've given the performance and you qualify, now you proceed, you apply for an advance payment guarantee, you want some mobilization there, and the counterparty tells you we need an advance payment guarantee from your financial institution. Come to HFC, we can give an advance payment guarantee, then the funds can start coming in. For those other guarantees, for instance, maybe you are a distributor, your main anchor or the person you're buying from is asking for you for a bank for a bank guarantee, then come to HFC. We can actually offer now even the bank guarantees for you. For those people who are intenders, you also find the other lines that you look at besides now the performance bonds. You find there's an LPO or there's a contract that you need to perform. Then LPO financing, we have an arrangement for you. And actually, we can look at it in terms of even the period that you want to look at, maybe for 90 days, for contract finance, 180 days. We have solutions for you. And here, in terms of flexibility, in terms of collateral, we are very flexible. Once you've done the job, there's always the invoice. You've done the invoicing. Now we're expecting some payments, but within the period, maybe the 90 days or the 180 days, you need some more cash to do your job. We also offer invoice discounting, and this one will go all the way up to 80%. For international trade, you've done your import or you're planning to do an import, then the LC business comes in. We can facilitate LC all the way up to the point where you receive even your payments. Once you've received your goods, maybe you want to pay duty and you want to clear and also move your cargo now from the port to your warehouse. We also have post-import finance and actually even finance you more even in terms of even other trade cycles where you need more financing. As a bank, with technology now coming on board, and actually we've learned a lot from the COVID environment, where people now stop doing cash, they're actually doing online banking, online trading, and also payments now have gone through payment platforms. As HFC, yes, we can enable you transact your business. Once you open an account, we have a HF Whiz, and that's a solution now for our mobile banking, for our customers, whether you're paying school fees. I know schools are back. We even have solutions for you for those people now who are paying school fees. We have solutions for you for the school owners who are proprietors for schools. We can finance you, and actually payments are structured in terms of even termly based on the repayment and the school fees that you're collecting. For the landlords, yes, this solution is also available for you. For tenants now to be paying rent through the solution for HF Whiz and actually collect rent. For anyone who's also in the ministry, churches, we also have collection solutions just to make sure that you have an online and a real-time solution that can make payments right into your account, and actually you can get SMSs as you proceed. For school fees payment, the same solution actually. As the school teachers parents get to pay, then the school bazaar and the accountant can actually get to see who's paying what. And in terms of event reconciliation, we shall help you on that. Over and above lending and taking deposits and accounts, we also want to add value to our customers. Here we have specific training sessions. We've already done a session for taxation. Why? Because these are reporting month. You're supposed to be compliant on matters tax. Then we found it necessary to invite you for this session, and thanks for coming. Then also on succession planning, look at your next of kin. Who are you going to hand over the business? The key money insurance, that is always a requirement. Then how is your succession planning in being structured? Then we train you and we actually talk to you on that. And also transition of family-owned property and the family-owned businesses, because majority of our SMEs, they actually started as a single business dwelling, is a family business, then it grows and actually gets bigger and actually becomes a full-fledged company and even international business. So in terms of succession then and structuring that is very, very important for you to look at it into posterity. Networking forums now, thanks to the government, opening up now, even for people to meet. I know it was a big challenge during COVID. Now this is a session now we shall be opening up actually for our networking forums. We've had business branch customers coming for our forums. Thanks to the customers that have been supporting us, and actually in this forum, we shall do more with this. The other thing that we're looking at is also even in international trade where we want to open exposure trips for our customers. Remember I said one thing that SMEs are interested in is access to finance and capital, access to markets, and access to information. Now, access to markets is actually even within the business exposure trips, among others that you shall be providing for our customers. Now, within the trade business, I know there's been a lot of challenge, especially with the international prices, oil prices, looking at how the shilling is taking a nosedive, but most importantly is looking now at HFC, what are we doing? We have Forex income trading. If you want to do your TTs, you want to buy dollars, you want to buy GBP, we can do that for you. If you want even structured transactions, forward contracts, we have swaps, and we also offer even custodial services. For those people who are interested in buying or treasury bills, treasury bonds, we have solutions for you through our treasury departments as FX and solutions under HFC offering. The other thing we look at, I know our journey started as a mortgage company. Most people talk of HFC, HFCK. We are still offering affordable housing through partnership with the government of Kenya and affordable housing. So just register through the Boma Yangu portal that is housed under the ministry. Then you open a Nyumba Yangu savings account with us, where you exclusively save as you earn interest. Then from there, once you need the money, we shall actually finance you the balance to a period of 10 years. So we don't just you to say, keep paying rent, keep staying in places that you've never wished. Look at that, get in, to invest, save some money, and also now we can support you around that part. What are your aspirations? As you offer solutions, HFC will be your partner. We have a full suite of banking services for both individuals and businesses. We also have improved proficiency in terms of even technology. We want to be intimate in understanding your requirements. Our solutions are tailor-made, and even in terms of accommodation, we are quite accommodative. We also focus on creating great relationships with you, that we shall keep interacting with you, we shall keep working with you, and more importantly, see positive transformation in your business and your life. Our team is ready to work with you in your investment journey and constant improvement of access to services through the digital platforms. So with that in mind, I just want to say a big thank you. We are located at Rehani House, Kenyatta Avenue, Konanga Street. That's our contact center and our mobile numbers. You can get in touch with us anytime. We are open. Thank you so much. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Simon Orenge, for that very precise and insightful presentation on what we have to offer in the SME and commercial banking suite. There's one question here from Jeff Alondo, who asks, what are the terms for advance payment guarantee, and does it have to be collateralized? Over to you, Simon.
Thank you. Yeah, for advance payment guarantee, definitely it has to be, you have to have collateral. Remember, for advance payment guarantee, we look at you've won the, you've bidded, you've done the bid. Secondly, now you come to performance guarantee. As a bank, now we are offering, we've done the performance bond. Now for you to get some cash, and this one we are looking at for you now to start performing the job. In other places, they call it the mobilization. There's a certain percent that you're given as part of the funds that you need to provide. Definitely from the bank side, then we look at the collateral that is required to cover that. And more importantly, is looking at, you can post the question within the chat so that our teams can respond to that in terms of the specific terms, because we are very accommodative and also more flexible in terms of offering trade solutions.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you. Thank you to Jackie, who has said, Asante Sana HFC team, and the guest speaker. Very insightful information. Thank you, and we look forward to bringing you more issues that would give you insights on how to run your businesses. So thank you very much, Jackie. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we have almost come to a close of our webinar today. And I would now just want to invite our head of branch business, Jerusha Igombo, who would now give a vote of thanks. So welcome, Jerusha. Jerusha can unmute.
Oh, thank you, Chris, for that. And thank you everyone actually for sitting in through this webinar. I'd really like to thank our tax expert, Regina Kingori, our Director Retail, Mr. Patrick Njunge, our Head of SME and the SME team led by Simon Wariungi for actually organizing this in conjunction with our marketing team led by Achieng, who have actually organized this platform. It was very, very insightful. Even me as an as an individual, really learned a lot. So looking forward probably in future to open my own business with these learnings that I've actually gotten today. To our very able MC, Chris, asante sana, and the entire team and the customers who've actually joined the webinar. We don't take it for granted. You actually took part of your time to actually tune in and listen to our webinar. I really hope it has been helpful and insightful to you too. And the HFC team that have also joined the webinar to listen in, I want to say thank you. And I want to say God bless you. So I'll hand it over back to you, Chris, so that you can actually close it.
Thank you, Jerisha, too, for giving the vote of thanks. Without further ado, mine is to say, asante sana. We look forward to being with you again. And when we call you, please come over as you have always supported us. Adios. Thank you.